One of the topics discussed here at the World Petroleum Council Youth Forum is women in energy. And part of that panel was Nancy Foster. Nancy, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
You are with Human and Corporate Resources with Husky Canada.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that establishes who you are and where you're from. Tell us a little bit about the panel that you were involved with.
Well, I was very privileged to be on a panel with other women from industry. One woman from India, and which was really unique for Calgary that we had the opportunity to have her there. I think that all of us had quite a few years of experience in the industry and varying roles, and so I think it was a good balance of different views, yet all women.
The industry has changed a lot when it comes to the number of women in it. Talk first about how the challenges facing women, were they the same as they were with other people in the panel? Did they find the same challenges in their countries as well?
I would say that, one of the panelists was from the U.S., and I think that they're very similar to Canada and the challenges that women faced 30 years ago when I came into the industry, which was there really wasn't sponsors for women. There weren't advocates. There weren't women in the more senior roles. About 10 years into my career, there was a female CEO, Dee Parkinson. She came in, but for the most part, there wasn't the type of support that you saw for the men. You were able to go golfing. Men would go golfing with each other, and they would get tips and support. And going out to the field. When Kathy talked about getting operations experience, that's at the time I came into the industry, that was actually quite difficult. There's stories of female drilling engineers going out to the drilling sites and the superintendent on the rig telling them to leave. I won't have a woman on my site. So those are very real challenges that make it difficult to do your job. So that doesn't happen now. There's women on offshore drilling rigs. There's women on offshore platforms. So very much a part of the industry, but still you don't see as many in senior roles. You see, I think, around 17% of the most senior roles are held by women in the industry, which is still certainly an issue. It's too low.
Although when you look at the support that you had at this event here, I mean, we're sitting up on stage, but the entire room was full. It was sold out. When you started in the industry, there might have been one table with the number of women. I mean, it's changed quite a bit that way. I mean, even if it's not as much as you'd like to see, there's been tremendous gains.
Absolutely. In terms of the number of women in the overall oil and gas industry, we actually reflect the communities in which we work overall. So yes, there's far more women than when I first came in.
Sometimes you hear, and often this is with politics, where people suggest that if there were more women in power, that things would be done differently. There might be more compassion and there would just be a different outlook. Do you think that as women rise to prominence in the oil industry, it might help change a reputation that has been difficult to convince people that things have changed?
I certainly think that women typically are more collaborative. And we know that diverse teams work better. We know that they get better outcomes. So there's two great reasons why to increase women. Numbers in more senior roles in oil and gas. You're going to get better outcomes as a result of collaboration, and they're just going to usually come at problems from a different point of view, and that may lead to more innovative solutions than we've seen in the past.
You're with Human Resources. One of the things with the oil industry right now is trying to attract people to come into it. What has it been like for you to try and fill positions?
Well, certainly in the skilled trades areas, this has been difficult for us. When oil sands are developing, they require, depending on the size of the project, you can have 2,000 people on site at once. So that has been a challenge for us. We are concerned about the demographics, about our aging population. It's a volatile industry in that we're commodity based, obviously, and so when the commodity price would go down. We would see hiring taper off. We'd see downsizing happen. And a lot of times the people who were downsized didn't return to the industry. They went on to other careers. So, and we saw people going into university saying, I'm not going to go into this discipline because look what's happened to my father. Look what I've heard on the news, and it's too high risk. And so, yes, we do now have a gap in terms of skill sets for what we're going to need to go forward. So we need to make sure that we're focusing on supporting educational institutions. Like for power engineers, these are specialists that we need in order to run a thermal plant. So this is highly specialized and requires quite a bit of schooling, and so we support that. We support the educational institutions, and we also support the individuals going through scholarships and time off and practical experience.
We hear a lot about sustainability when it comes to the environment and the product as well, but it seems like sustaining a viable workforce is just as big a challenge.
Yes, it is, actually. And what you are experiencing as an industry is that you're having younger people coming into the sites. So we call them green hands, and they don't have as much experience. And so we really need to focus on that and make sure that they have the skills, the competencies they need so that we have a safe work environment. And that's really something that the entire industry is very much focused on.
Nancy, thank you very much for your time. We've been chatting with Nancy Foster with Husky Canada.